Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
The Forex Factory News, and see what kind of news we may have today. Does everybody see my screen okay?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right. So we have we did have a Swiss yen. Now this one is a possibility. We're going to watch this one a little bit closer here. It looks like we may have a bounce. We had a bounce with an arrow on the bounce off of it. It came back down, retested the zone, and now it's looks like this could be like a market maker move. Let's just go and scroll and see what our direction is on this one. We are in an uptrend. Looks like we are in an uptrend. We have the bounce. This one could be a good trade. What are your thoughts on this one, Charles? Or
Yeah,
I got today.
Yeah, a little bit of a bank induction maybe right there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and take this one. I think this one might be worth. There's not a lot of strength between the Swiss and the yen, but I do like the. Looks like we have lots of room to the upside. Is in an uptrend. We did cross over the moving average. Let me put the 200 period moving average on here. Let's see if we can get that.
Yeah, it's
how far are you try to take it?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How far are you going to try to take it?
Well, that's I'm looking to see. I go for 25 pips on this one to start with.
Okay.
And it looks like we got plenty of room there. 42 to we've got a good 40, 60 pips on this one.
I was looking at this one too.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take this one. I think this one looks like it's worth taking a shot at. Actually, this one would probably get a little bit of heat right here at the 200 moving average. Let's see if we still have room for. That's still 11 pips. This one I would probably go for. I think what I will probably do is I will probably take this trade, and I'm going to use my first target. Is going to be the 200 moving average, which is about
22.
Like that's 22. Well, okay, we saw 22 pips. So I'm going to give this one about probably 20 pips and see what see if it maybe it'll come out, break through the top of that. I will expect a bounce off of that level. So this is on the Swiss yen. I'm going to take a buy on this one.
I was wondering why the screen was
another confirmation, Al, just so you know, if you went to the 5 minute, there's an upward arrow just happened.
Oh, perfect. That helps. That all helps. I'm just going to go for 40 pip stop, 20 pip target. I'm going to set that up. And I'm going to find my other ring here. And this was the Swiss yen. Swiss yen. Hang on, let me get this thing out of the way. Swiss yen, and we're going to do a buy on that one as well. And just to get your stop, get your target, and we will move on to the next chart and see what we have. Okay, so this was the Swiss yen. Let's look at the CAD yen. That's another one we have. Let's see. Make this one small. And we have the CAD yen. That's down here. And there we have a bounce. Well, we don't have, it's an up arrow right into a zone, so there's no trade there, but we can go ahead and mark this one up a little bit and see what kind of range we have and see where our direction is for this one. Looks like it's going to be, whoop, there we go. It just switched on us here. We have it all the way in. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green, 1, 2, 3, 4 red. So we are in an uptrend. We maybe will get something possibly on a bounce on the contra trend trade. Arrow down, arrow up. Move this on up to this little zone right here, so I know where this zone was. If it goes away and the arrow's still there, I'll know that the zone is, things have been reversing on us a little bit. Zoom out. Do that, and then we're going to go look at the US CAD, USD CAD. And that's going to be over here someplace. And this looks like this could be almost like another possible bank induction here. Strong move down, bounced off, had a nice little wick, pulled back up, came back, crossed the moving average, came back down. And now this one, US CAD, the CAD is, if I look through my heat map.
The only thing else in it, it's in a downward trend, so it's not really bank induction.
Okay. Thank you for that, Charles. Let's see, and here's my heat map for today. This is what we're looking at for strength and weaknesses here. Right now, the British pound is the strongest on the 1 hour, and on the 30-minute, on the 15, and it's losing a little bit of ground on the 5 minutes. So that means there's probably getting a little bit of a pullback, possibly. But right now, the British pound strong. The dollar is weak, pretty much across the board on all 4 time frames. So we're going to be trading against the dollar on most of everything that we, until this thing changes, we're going to be trading with the favor of whatever the dollar's trading against. So like the US CAD, we would be looking at the CAD being the stronger on the 1 hour, stronger on the 5 minutes, stronger on the 15, and stronger about in the middle of the pack on the 30 minutes. So not overly strong, but yet still stronger than the US dollar. And let's see, where's the in my Forex factory? Let's take a look at the Forex factory here.
Yeah, no, hold on.
Did we finish taking a look at this? Yeah, we did look at this one already. And the US CAD, that's the one we're on right now. Strong move down. Strength to the CAD, but weakness to the dollar. So again, I don't want to take this thing short. One is still in the green zone. It does look like it wants to break through the bottom, but I don't know that I want to bank on that one. Let's go and get the template up with our 200 moving average. And 200 moving average, can take this one. We are getting across the moving averages. So that is a pretty strong move down. I'm a little surprised at that, quite frankly. That shows strength on the dollar.
Oh, your zone just disappeared.
It did. And
Figured it out.
we do have, yeah, we do have strength to the downside. We had a bounce. Do we have a bounce arrow go on this one? Arrow down here. And let's zoom in on this one a little bit. It's already kind of out of the chute here. Now the question is there enough room to the downside too? I'd probably want to see a little bit of a pullback on this first, though. This is one we may have kind of missed here. Let's see what the time mentioned, what we have here from here. Lots of room to the downside. We have 35, 40. The 40 pips stop would get you right above this red zone, which would be good. Although if it does come back and retest that, where are we going to go for a target on this thing, though? Let's see if I can. Ooh, so way down there. We do have some wicks. We had strong move up here, came back down, retested. This is as low as it got before it took back up again. So it's going to be retesting this level right in here, which is right about where we are right now. I think I'm going to hold off on this one. I maybe look for. I'd like to see this. I'd like to see the blue moving average cross the 200 period and come back and retest that, and then on a pullback on that, maybe take it short. But right now, I'm going to. It's out too far away for me to jump onto this one.
I took it.
Did you take it?
Yeah. Yep, I took it.
Okay.
Once it cleared that
I mean,
green
did you
zone,
take it? Did you take it as a swing or as a scalp?
quick, short day trade, 15-minute chart.
Yeah.
But I looked at the 1 hour and I thought, okay,
What's your target on this one?
just 20 pips away.
20 pips.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so let's see here. Let's put this one up here. Object list. We're going to
So
go
I'm
with
sitting at targets right at 2657.
126. Okay, let's go with the
And just let it happen.
1.2. C2686, we'll call it. Let's see where that brings us.
There is a little resistance on the 5-minute chart. Not that
Yeah.
that's going to scare you too much, but
No, it didn't. Because we got rid of the 15 and we're getting ready to cross. And on the bigger picture, the higher time frame, there's nothing there. And so I figured, okay, that 5 minute will be a hesitation. It may linger, it may bounce back up, just like Al said, but the overall push is still going to be down.
So
go ahead and jump into
1.2. Okay, I'm for sure not going to go take this thing.
I was going against you yesterday, Brian. I figure I'll follow you.
Yeah, that's all. Hey, I don't win them all.
12682, 12662 is the 12662 for the target. 1.2662. Take that one, and like I said, I'm looking at a little bit of a. Then our stop is going to be.
Yeah, Dylan, it may be just a fact of your screen needed to be refreshed or a candle needed to be created.
And right there is our stop. So here's the entry off the arrow. This is the stop. The second one is actually the target. So I'm looking at this green zone. I'm gonna make this one a little different color, if I can. I'll make this one an orange just because I can do that.
What's the first one? Is that your normal 5 minute resistance? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, the first green one's the target. Yeah, this green one that we're looking at right here is the that's where I expecting it to bounce off of this zone right in here. We got some wicks all the way over here that were tested. This whole area was wicks tested. So if I could break through that, this would be where your target is down here at the 62. I'm looking at a bounce off of the 2671 area. I'm going to see maybe a bounce. It may come back up, retest it, and then give us another shot.
I think it's going to bounce a bit.
Yeah, I think it's going to bounce a little bit. But I do think that we are starting to get the cross of the moving averages. And we did get the break off the 200. If it comes back up and retests the entry, I might be apt to take this one as well.
You see where your entry line is? Look back to the left, how much that is a key line, just slightly above that.
Right here,
That's such a key piece right there.
Because here's if we scroll in over here to the left a little bit. You see, here's a strong move. Came back down. Here's where the first wick was, where you have the arrow. Came back up, retested it again, and then it started gradually working its way all the way up to the peak. Came back down. Now it's coming back down. So there's some activity going on right in here. You can see where it has to get. I'd like to see it get through this, and it may very well do that as the Canadian dollar gets stronger.
And your peak is also lower than your previous peak, so the trend is pushing down.
Actually, this does indicate that the Canadian dollar is stronger. I had this in my mind was actually backwards. The dollar is the weakest. The dollar is the first currency of the pair, so that means that the Canadian dollar is stronger, and that does give. Actually, I like it a lot better just by thinking about that. that dollar is stronger. I didn't have my coffee yet this morning. Yeah, it looks like this thing could pretty well just plow right through here.
No go on the CAD Swiss for the record.
Yeah.
No go on the CAD Swiss.
Let that one be. I'm betting it's going to be similar.
This one, let's see. Let's take a look at this one in a little bit tighter time frame here. We have here's your targets. No greens, nothing's green there, right there.
Mm.
And actually, the entry, they're about 9 Actually, 11 pips. You're pretty much right at 11 pips away from where the entry up. Here's where the entry for the arrow was. We're already pretty much out of the sheet. You're halfway to your target right now by that.
Your CAD Swiss is running up against an hour resistance as well as 15-minute resistance. I wouldn't jump long on that one yet.
Okay.
My personal opinion.
Oh, and this, I moved this down, this US CAD to a 5-minute chart, and you can see how the moving averages crossed. It came back up, retested the 200 moving averages, and then came back, and now it's heading on the downside. So this was really this little move right up here where it came up and tested that and came back down and continued the downward, right? This area, which is actually a little bit above, but this is on the 5-minute chart, so we didn't see this on the 15. But you can see that's the picture you want to see. You want to see the cross. You want to see it come back up, tag it, and then come back down, and then continue to the downside. And let's see. Let's take a look at the news while we were thinking about this. Let me see if I can get my Forex Factory up and running here.
Could we look at the pound yen on the 5-minute?
We sure can. Let me go get through this one first. No red. I don't see any red folders
Yeah, there was
today,
nothing red.
so we're good there.
Yeah, nothing red today.
Pound yen on the 5, you say?
Yeah, Brendan's asking for it.
All right, let me get this thing back to the 15. Oops, let me get this back to 15 so we can catch the 15-minute alerts. There we go, pound yen. Pound yen, pound yen.
Ryan, there were some parabolic pound moves at the beginning of the money zone last night. Here's one of them.
Yeah, that's one of them right there.
Well, here's one. Well, right now I see it's already up to the. Now we did say that the yen was going to be the stronger pair today, at least for now. Where'd it go?
Yen looks really weak on my.
Yeah, yen's going to be weak. The pound's going to be strong.
Yeah.
At least on this pair.
Certainly strong on this one.
There's not a. This is 15-minute chart you're looking at, Al. By the way.
Yeah. Oh, and what time frame? Oh,
he was asking for 5-minute.
5-minute. Okay. Well, we got a lot of 5-minute chart traders there.
Mm-hmm.
They like these quick time frames.
But just seeing that 15, I wouldn't be jumping in right now to save my life.
Yeah.
I love the entry down below though.
Yeah. This would have been a nice. Again, here's your.
Once it crossed.
Once it crossed. Now we never did come back and revisit. It never did come back and revisit that though, which makes it even that much of a stronger move.
It's broken the red zone, but it's still pushing up against a 15-minute. Remember, guys, when you're on a 5-minute chart, always take a look at your time frame above it. It's kind of like the same thing when you're on a 15. Look below to see if you see any minor ones. The minor areas of resistance or support doesn't mean it won't work. It just means you're going to have a little bit of a hiccup there if it's in your way. It may take longer than you would anticipate it taking, but always remember higher time frames are going to be stronger than the lower time frame because there's no banker going on a 5-minute chart.
Yeah. Now, this is
all speculators.
For anybody who was up during the London session to catch that, this is the yesterday's or the overnight. No way, this was the overnight move here. This was yesterday's money zone. This yesterday's money, and you can see that it broke the top of yesterday's money zone. It broke that right over in here. That's what kind of launched this. But we have this wick over here that we have to be aware of. That's why this one doesn't excite me a whole lot because it's right. Well, actually, did break.
It cleared it already.
It cleared it. Let's see if it.
And it just now cleared the upper level resistance.
Yeah,
now
we are in a strong uptrend.
Oh, it's
basing. Yeah. Now this thing could go quite a bit higher.
Go to your 30-minute.
It certainly has a lot of. Yeah, look and see where the next target's going to be. Oop, yeah, there's 30-minute.
Go to your 1 hour. Because now it's breaking that pivot 30-minute high.
Yep, right here. Yep.
It's funny. I have resistance on the 30-minute chart, and you don't. Are you on? Is this NV for you, Al?
No, this is LCMFX.
Okay. There's the difference. Okay, that's interesting. And NV has resistance at the M30 right at the price.
Man, this thing could go for a bit.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything way back.
Stay right here. Go back to that one. Go back to whatever. Look here. This is a good thing to teach people. Notice, were you on the 4 hour? Yeah. Notice how it's a nice 45-degree angle.
Nice. Yeah.
And then it started picking up pace a couple days back and started going to above a 45-degree angle. Just remember, what goes up parabolic comes down just as fast. So when it does hit, somebody's going to do a major sell-off, take their profit, and it's going to shoot it back down to that 45-degree angle. Doesn't mean the trend's going to be over. Yeah, there could definitely be a retrace. Looking at of course, this is a swing strategy here now that we've moved from the 5 minute. Go back to your 1 hour, Al.
To my 1 hour. Oh, here we go.
I would say your retracement would be there's your zone on a 1 hour. I would say your retracement would probably be 50% of this move, this last move, this way up. If you use fib on a 5 minute from the time that I can't read your numbers, but
I'll tell you what, I'm going to pull this back down to the
146.50. Just call it 146.50.
This would be pretty much the bottom of that move that you're talking about.
Your retracement will be halfway.
Let me go. This would be looking at a possible Fibonacci retracement thing.
Right where the second arrow was given would be a good place to be looking for a potential.
Yeah, this would be the start. Now you also see you have the arrow moving averages coming up. When this thing comes up, it peaks, pulls back, retraces. It'll probably come, and once it crosses this blue or tags the blue moving average, that would be probably going to be close to the end of your pullback. But you'll take your Fibonacci, start from here up to here.
Now look, and definitely look at left. Look how that move is looking similar to what we had a while back. And then it started having this hesitation back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But prior to that, we had a nice parabolic move up. Then it hesitated, moved a little bit up, and then it pulled hard back. And it's pulled hard back twice.
Yep. It went up real hard, pulled back hard. Went up hard, pulled back hard. It's going up hard. It's probably going to pull back. And I would expect at least a 50 to 62% retracement off of this. Agree. And so let's say it just starts to turn around here. Look where this moving average, look where our moving averages is right at the 50% retracement line. So this thing pulls back to a 50% retracement. It'll probably go up and retest this top zone. Here's a wick that was tested. It's right now it hasn't closed above that, I don't think. Let me see if I can zoom out here a little bit. Yeah, if you look and see right where this wick is here, if I draw a line across, here's the highest body before this last move. Now this one hasn't closed yet, so you can see where it wicked up. If it can close above this, you'll probably expect a little bit of a retrace before it comes back down again. Right now it is probably about another 6 minutes before this candle is going to close. You see it's got a nice little wick, but you see this is where the sellers are coming back in again, driving it up. The sellers are coming in. They're selling to somebody, and then they're going to sell it. They're going to sell it. Somebody's going to buy it. They're going to sell it again, take their stops.
That's again, remind them what you said yesterday. Again, Al, is some of this downward movement on the retracements is people getting stopped out.
Yeah. They
were buyers, but they had a quick stop. So if the stops are being wiped out, that magnifies the move downward.
Yeah, I just think what we as traders oftentimes do, and we're trying to avoid doing it, is that it comes up, you see the fear of missing out. Oh, I don't want to get off. I don't want to miss on this run. So you come in and you're coming up here. So they have a nice big spike. I'm going to jump in. You jump in. And of course, where's your stop? Probably down here. Guess what they do? They drive it back down. Go. So here you're a buyer. So you're buying, they're selling. You stop. If you get stopped out, it's because you're selling. Well, if you're selling down here, they're buying. Well, guess what? They like to buy down here because they're going to drive back up again. They like to buy down here. They like to buy down here. They like to buy down here. This is a little bit how the gearbox and Alexander and Einstein work. They're selling. They're buying all the way down as it's going down, increasing their positions because this is where the bulk of their buy orders are. They drive it right down here. So they dollar cost average. They take small positions just to keep it moving down. Here's where the mother load is. Here's where they go and they load up on their buy positions, and then they drive it right back up. You're jumping on. Say, well, I don't want to miss this train. And by the time the train leaves the station, you're jumping on. And guess what they're doing? If you're buying,
they're going to take the profits.
They're selling, and that's where they're making their profits. And you see, look at this wick. See, and this candle hasn't closed yet. We still have a couple more minutes, but you can see it's coming right back down to where the close of this wick was. It's just hanging right around this area. So yeah, I would not jump on this one. I would wait for the pullback, and I would be willing to take this on the pullback, but not right up here. Yeah, see any other?
It would be like going to buy a car and trying to make sure you pay the most expensive price for it. And nobody does that.
Looks like our Swiss yen trade is working out. So far, so good. Let's take a look at that and see if it's looking like it's still moving in the right direction for us. I think it is. Swiss yen.
Your Swiss yen is looking real good, dude.
Nice little bounce over here, and I said I expect it to come up and probably retest the 200 moving average. I need to get my phone plugged in case we lose power again. If you don't hear me talking or you hear me dropped off, you'll know that my screen goes blank and know what happened.
Yeah. Did y'all lose power overnight?
Not yet. No, it's a little frosty out there. It's not as bad as it was the other day, but it certainly has the potential still. I'm hoping that all the trees that went down the last ice storm that took all the weak ones out, and the rest of them, because the rest of them will keep standing as they cleared out the debris. So right now that one's still working out. We have I said we have a 20 pip target on this one, and it's still below the moving average. If it comes up here and starts hammering away at it, I'll just close it out myself. I'm not going to give up a 20 pip move just for another half a pip. And let's see, any other alerts that we have here? Any other questions? So if you would put your questions in the question answer box, so we can see, it's easier for us to see them. That way we know which ones were answered and which ones weren't.
And I've got them. I've got both the Q&A and the chat, trying to monitor both for you.
Good, I appreciate that. Eva, I think, has taken the day off today. She's taken a well-earned break. She's been very faithful and dedicated to helping me out in these rooms.
Let's see. Right now we're sitting pretty much break even still on the US CAD. It's just kind of sitting where it was at. So that's not necessarily a good sign for a sell.
Let's see. That's the one that I decided not to take.
Probably. That's Charles the one decided. Charles took it. So
I took it
along with me. Again, I was looking bigger picture, so I'm not worried about what it does in the next 15 minutes. Pound Aussie on 15-minute looks like a bag setup. Pound Aussie.
Pound Aussie.
Mm-hmm.
Pound Aussie 15-minute. Let's take a look at that one. Thank you guys for calling some of these things out, because a lot of times we
I think they're happening. I think they're calling, which is cool. They're calling it before it actually happens.
Yeah, well, that's that means they're looking and they're thinking.
That means you're understanding it.
Yeah. Let's go and we're going to zoom out. We're going to find our direction on this one. And it looks like, and I said I'd like to zoom all the way out as far as I can until this thing kind of goes white. And that way I know I'm as far as out. And then I just do my count, 2, 3, 4. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This one could be considered 5. When I see them like this, I just count this as 1. There is a little bit of a break in between. There's a little bit of a level and a level, but I view this as, well, it actually is 2, but the one just got a little bit higher then. But I'm looking at this as being pretty much of a,
to me, it's an uptrend.
I'd say for the most part, it's an uptrend, but it's a weaker uptrend, I would call it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we have a bounce. So right now we can't take anything because we got this zone right here. But now we can, what we can do with this one is we can zoom out a little bit.
I'm betting, guys, that the person on my chart, I have 4 reds and 3 greens on the 15-minute. It's interesting.
4 reds and 3 greens. Okay.
Me too.
Really, you do too?
Yeah, but I'm using Envy.
You're using Envy too.
We're both on Envy.
Well, I'm glad. No wonder you guys are taking trades together.
Didn't say we were making money together, though, did we?
Oh,
Not
no,
yet.
nor
Not
did
yet,
I.
we aren't.
Nor did I say you were making money together.
Don't get us confused with knowing what we're doing.
So,
So what? So let me ask you guys something. At the top with all those wicks going in and resistance, does that look like a potential bank induction move there? Where
yeah,
it's,
it does. There's a
Yeah.
lot of wicks, big wicks, a lot of wicks in here. So yeah, I think if we can get this thing to bounce, and now we do have the
I think this is a lot like the pound yen where you're waiting for a retracement bounce
yeah.
up.
I'm waiting for retracement to come back here and retest the moving average.
And look at
And
your recent peak though. Your peak is higher than the previous peak. If you go back to the
this
left,
right
it's
over
higher.
here.
So we've
Not,
got a
not
slight
well.
uptrend already starting.
Well, it's higher than this one, but it's not higher
Right.
than that one. That one's
That is the high one. Where's oh,
that
there's
one right
another one.
here.
Okay, I see it.
Got one,
It's
that one right
blended
there.
in. I see what you're seeing.
Yeah,
We're dead even with the one back then. Okay.
but let's look and see from the red zone. And this is what you do. This is what I do when I'm projecting what may or may not happen. There's my zone. So if it pulls back 20 pips, right here, I've got 26 pip move to this. So if it comes back here and tags this and gives me a somewhat of a three, I look at a three candle formation with I want to see a wick in between. For instance, like in an up move, this is the wick. You have a higher, here's a low, here's a higher low. Over on the left side, you see is a higher low. And that tells me that this is the buyers, the sellers came in, buyers pushed it back up again. If we can break through this wick, I would see it come down, test this, come back up and retest the zone again before it falls apart. Or it comes back down with a strong retracement, takes out that wick, gets everybody sucked in saying, oh, this thing's going short, bounces right off of here, it comes back up and retests the zone, and then maybe comes up, takes this zone out and comes up for this one. Looking for the British, this is the British Aussie. And so if we look at our heat map on this one, oh, where's my heat map? There it is. So again, if we're looking at our heat map on this, here's the British, here's the Aussie. Right now, they're both pretty strong on the 1 hour chart. Here, they're both pretty strong. Here, the British is still stronger. So still have strength of the British pound, but the Aussie's starting to give it up a little bit here. Starting to give it up a little bit here, but not much. They're still kind of neck and neck. So this is where they're at that level of indecision. It's at the level right here is the level of indecision where they're trying to decide who's going to take control. Right here, the British pound had control all the way up. Now the Aussies are saying that I think we're going to try and go. I think that's about enough of this. Let's pretend we can drive it back down again. So I'd wait for a pullback, at the very least to retest this pivot. And by that time, this moving average may be up a little bit higher, but we did have the crossover. So right now it is getting more of a strong uptrend, but I want to see a retracement. I would be looking at this area right down here with the Fibonacci's. This looks like it has a really strong potential being a Fibonacci retracement, which was strategy something, one of our strategies.
So in other words, Al, you're looking for a retracement and to get in for a long position, is what you're talking about?
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because here's the strong move up. Now, with the Fibonacci retracement, rather than taking it down here, taking it to the last one that leaves the zone. So here's our zone. This was a lower wick, but you see, this is the last wick so this is where I'm going to start my Fibonacci retracement. So I'm going to take it from here to 0 up to here. Now I'm looking for the pullback, and I want to see at least a 38% pullback. With a 38% pullback, which is right about where this thing's going, by the time this candle, the price comes back down and hits this line right here, this moving average is probably going to be coming up to test that. So that means you can have two forms of confirmation. One, you have a Fibonacci retracement line of 38%. You have the arrow moving average confirmation, and when those two cross right there, that's the one point of a what we'll call I'll call it it's been termed as an energy point, where you have a Fibonacci line, you have a moving average line. At that point where they both cross, that's an energy point. And you can see where it wasn't quite there yet, but it's only one point that's going to happen. And if it comes back down and tests this, then I would probably be all over it. And then your retracement, and you'll be looking for another, what you want to see a confirmation of a reversal, like a wick or a railroad track that they call it, where you have like strong move down with another candle, strong move up, like you have a big red candle followed by a green candle. That
Is
would be
there-
it. That would be an energy point. That would be the railroad track. This is a wick. But if it comes down and tests this, then your stop is going to be 5 pips below the next line, which is the 50%. If it comes down to the 50%, your stop's going to be the next line minus 5 pips.
At the 38, Al, is there enough room though to take the trade up? Is there 20 pips to the resistance?
That's a good question. Excellent question, in fact. Yep.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah, close enough. Be close enough for me.
Yep.
You know, and if it's like, if you're looking for 20 pips, and let's say it measures out to 18 or 19 pips, no, go for 15. No, I'm okay with that.
Yep.
So, but this is what I'd be looking at for this one. I'm looking for it. We had to move up, it tested, comes back down, retest this would be the Fibonacci. And I said with a 38% Fibonacci retracement, your target is going to be this one, which, and there's a good chance that this zone may get broken. And then once this gets broken, this is going to be the next, and that is going to be your next target would be, if it pulls back to the 38% line, here's your target 1, here's your target 2.
Right. It's, you know, just for the record, I think that Rich in the chat, I know he was looking at this as a potential setup for a sell,
Right.
a bounce off resistance. Just, you know, just it's interesting for you to look at it and have sort of the opposite direction in mind, which I understand.
Yeah.
I don't see it as I don't see it now. Again, I don't see the odds being in your favor for a sell. Doesn't mean it wouldn't work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm looking at, for me, just to kind of like reiterate what Al says, you look at all those wicks at the top of the last, 6, 7 candles. You got the sellers are winning, but when buyers come back, the buyers are actually pushing at the same time. The buyers are having a tendency of pushing it higher, even with the selling pressure.
Yeah.
And I've also looked at see that, and Brian, you mentioned it earlier about how you have a slope and then it starts changing direction where it starts increasing its angle. I mean, right here we have here's our trend line. So right now here's our anchor. Here's a hit. Now, this is actually forming a wedge up here.
A wedge, yeah.
We have our wedge with a flat top. If it breaks through the bottom of the wedge, here's going to be your target. And it'll pop it. And I'm guessing if by the time it breaks through the bottom of the wedge, this could be your fake out. This would be your head fake that you often hear about, where you have a wedge, it breaks out the bottom, gets everybody to say, oh, it just broke the trend line. It's going to go short. And guess what? It runs right into this area right here, right into the retracement, and then comes back in, then takes off, and then breaks the top of the wedge. But right now, the energy is still to the upside.
Hey, I'll quickly go take a look at Swiss yen that we're in. There was someone in the chat room just mentioned there's a new resistance up there.
Swiss yen.
We're like 10 pips into profit right now. Just, do you think we should jump out of that with that resistance, or what would you do?
This is on the 50. Ooh, that's a good.
I know what I would do.
Lots of good questions. What would you do, Brian?
I would be moving my stop loss below that support area and keeping it whole, because that moving average is still right up there. I would be very cautious. I may take profit completely off. You're already halfway there. Yeah, I would definitely be shortening up I would be shortening up my stop.
I think one of the theories is that if you do get a zone after you get out, trade, you just get out. And
I just took profit. I got 9 pips. Yeah. I got 9 pips.
I would do the same thing.
I would agree. Getting out of this at this point, because when you look back, what's the overall push? You're looking at the far left corner from the top left all the way down. That's a drop on probably a 4-hour chart. This is a drop basing that's happened, and it very well could just fall off.
Yeah.
Shout out to Claudio for letting us know about that. Thanks, Claudio.
And it could also rally right back up to that moving average. I still think the overall push is down though.
I think what we possibly will be looking at too is it could, like you said, it could still go up. I mean, that's still a pretty good target, but the
Yeah.
fact we have this wick here, we have this wick here, and actually this thing is bouncing. It did make a new low from the money zone, yesterday's money zone, which was right over here. As I look at this thing a little bit further, we did have the break of the money zone right here. It came down, tested. Now it still has the energy to the upside. Let me take a look at see Swiss yen. Let's see Swiss yen.
I'm not so
Swiss
sure it
yen.
has a lot of energy though, because that yesterday's
Yeah.
zone is huge for the power push down with the
Yeah.
crossover.
Again, the Swiss is slightly stronger than the yen, slightly, but in reality, I think what's probably going to happen is going to come back down, maybe retest this zone. It could just be going. It could just go sideways for quite a while, until one of them gets to be a little bit more. Let me see here. I would say it still has strength to the upside, but it's probably not going to be a straight shot. Let's just say that. There's nothing wrong with taking some profits early and then coming back and see what happens with this zone. See if it breaks through this, it's probably come back and retest the moving average, which still might give you. Actually, you may get a. Actually, what I'd be looking at with this is see if we can get an arrow off of this. We have the bounce, the arrow, and then we can go up to this one.
Right.
That zone.
Basic rules of the road with arrow though is to get out of that trade at this point with a little profit.
Yeah. And
we have someone in the chat asking to look at EuroCAD for a potential trend reverse.
EuroCAD. I really
And
like
then
all this.
Garvin mentioned after that one, it looks like CJ 1 minute chart.
Ooh, 1 minute chart.
We're winning our US CAD right now, Brian.
Of course we are. I haven't looked at it, but once I'm in a trade to remove the motion, I pretty much don't look at them anymore.
This is a nice little trade. This could be a nice little trade right here. It came up. It tagged the moving average. Now this one would be looking more on a. The fact that let's see where our strength is on this one. Let's analyze this one a little bit here.
Trending down.
It's trending down. So we are in a downtrend. Now I'm going to go and move my, is it 8 o'clock yet? Yeah, it is 8 o'clock. So we're in a reversal time frame. Let's see here. Let me get my objects list here. And I'm going to get my targets here, my reversal targets. So this is the 18th. So I'm going to move this to the 18. Make that an 8. And I'm going to make this one an 8. Keep the times the same. All I can do is change the date on it.
He's asking us to look at the 30-minute chart too when you have a chance as well.
Okay.
He sees something in the M30. Zoom out.
All right, M30. So 30 minutes. I'm going to zoom out. Same frame, same one, EuroCAD.
Yep.
It looks like it's in a downtrend on the 30-minute. So we're going to move this over here. Arrow down, arrow down. There's our arrow. So we do have a bounce arrow, and could we have a bounce arrow go on the 30-minute?
Right.
Which I believe is valid.
Interesting.
You may want to use a little bit, if you're going to go a higher time frame, you may want to use a little bigger stop on it. But the question here is, do we have 20 pips to the next zone? I'm not sure we do here. Let's take a look. We're close, 17 pips.
Pretty narrow range.
It's a pretty narrow range. Yeah, that's a pretty narrow range. Let's see. So we have a zone right here. Let me mark that.
You also want some people want to see gold and US 30.
Oh, gold.
Yeah,
gold,
I'm not.
gold,
gold, that's not my expertise for sure.
Okay, let me take a look. Let's see if there's a zone here on the 15-minute at this point. Oh, there's actually one even closer. It's actually in a zone right there on the 15. Let's take a look at the 5-minute and see. I mean, right now on the 15-minute, there's a no-go on this one. Too close, way too close. It's in a very narrow trading range. I just stay away from that one. What is the other gold we're looking at?
Take a look at CAD yen too when you have a chance. There might Not, there was just an arrow, but it might break through the resistance and we might have some room to go up on CAD yen.
Good, yeah, let's see here. Yeah, this is one that we were looking at that has the strength to the upside.
Yeah.
We were looking for this thing to pull back a little bit. It's what we were thinking. This is one I think we're looking at.
Yeah.
If it can break through, the CAD yen, the CAD is still stronger than the yen on all time frames. It's got to break through this area. What we could do is we could put an alert on this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little, it needs to pull back to give us room.
I'd like to see it close. I'd like to see it close above. Like I'd like to see it close above the close right here. We have some close right here.
Blow out that red zone there, and then come and then retrace a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we can get a close above these wicks, and here's something that I look at a lot, actually, is when I look for targets, I look and see where's the highest wick that it's trying to get through. So right now it's fighting. This zone was created with this wick right here. This wick was referencing these. If you come all the way over here from this line now, come over and see, you don't see any more wicks. So right after it can get through this, here's the target right here before you get to the body of the next wick. So right now, if it can break through, this is where it's going to go. And you see like you have a strong move down, a wick, a little wick up. This is what you call a level and a wick over wick. There's a down wick.
Key area. That's gonna be a higher time frame resistance area.
Yeah, and here's a wick. So right now, there was a little bit of a battle between the buyers and sellers at this point. The sellers took over. Come back up, comes up into the zone. There's going to be another battle raging. You can see all this area right in here. There's a lot of activity. A lot of fight. There's the buyers take over, comes back in. Sellers take over, buyers take over. So you see right where it's high, and this, it kept cycling back and forth around this whole zone right here. So I would expect you're going to see the same thing happen again in this area. So I'd be more apt to be a seller in this area, but also knowing that you could get a head fake up into this one. But this is, I would stay away. This is going to be an area of indecision. Who's going to win when it gets here? That's going to be a 50-50 crapshoot is what I'd be calling that one on that. So again, I'll stay away from that one. If we get a signal on that, we'll take a look at it and see what it says. But right now, I'm not seeing anything. If it breaks through here, by the time it breaks through the top of this line, we're right up into this. Again, this would be the head fake. But this would be the target. This would be the next target. Notice after this wick, there's no wicks at all until you get up to this zone right in there. So from that standpoint, if it can break through this zone, would you have 20 pips? See, there's only 5 pips there. There's 10 pips. So from the time it breaks this zone till the time it gets at best, it gets up to this point, you're still only looking at 10 pips. So that's, to me, that's a no-go. We're going to take a look at gold real quick here. Someone asked about that. Gold. I do like gold, but I don't like the pricing that it's been doing. I like gold better when it's up around the 2,000, 2,100 mark.
Should go to the 5-minute for it.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. 5-minute on this one. Yeah, right now it's hanging right between this 1780, 1790. So it broke that 1800 and it came back down to another $20. So this is the range. Basically, we're at about a $20 range on this ish. Green zone to red zone. We're looking at 1787. Yeah, it's trading in about $7 to $10 range. Not really and it's been that way all night long, pretty much. So
yeah, look at your moving average, how flat it is.
Yeah, very, very flat. So again, I'm staying away from gold and the indexes right now until things stabilize a little bit more within the I call it the Biden effect. So see if things stabilize, see really where things are going until they get done printing all the money. We'll figure out where it goes after they get done printing. Until then, I'm staying away from the indexes and also staying away from gold. And actually, I'm staying, for the most part, I'm staying away from a lot of the U.S. pairs too.
Go ahead and look at US 30 if you can. That'll clear off one of our questions here. They said gold in US 30.
Okay.
That is flat though for gold for sure.
US 30. I got the US 500. I don't have the US 30 on here. I have the US. I got the S&P on here. I don't have the US 30. I don't even think I suppose I could probably load it up here. Let's see.
Yeah.
Go right click, find my symbols list. US 30. Where
The Dow Jones, the Dow 30 there. DJ.
Oh, this is right here. Right. Show that one. Okay. Put that on the in the mix, and we're going to right click chart.
We need Coach Mo to look at this chart.
Yeah. I stay away from this stuff. It's not near as predictable for me.
And we're going to load the.
That's just me though.
This thing moves like Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's just you have to
Speaking
be in the
of
right
Bitcoin,
time.
what's
For me,
Bitcoin
it's gambling. For me.
What's Bitcoin doing today?
Been kind of ranging lately.
They got up to 52,000 yesterday, I saw.
Yep.
It's about due for a little bit of a pullback. Okay, here's a high, here's a lower high, here's a low, higher low, higher low. Here's a little, it's basically a big wedge if you want to look at it from a daily standpoint, but it's making lower highs and higher lows. Here's the nice little big strong wick. See how this came down, tested that 200 moving average, came back up and then went up higher. Right now it's still kind of fighting. I would be drawing a trend line from, let's see, here's my trend line. I would be drawing it from this one over to this one. Could almost argue the fact of here's an anchor, here's a hit. If we take it from using that one as a reference.
You know you're on the 1 hour. You know you're on the 1 hour.
I did not know I was on the 1 hour. Thank you.
I didn't know.
You want the 5 minute? I think you want the 5 minute for this bad boy.
Yeah, we do. We do.
You guys are lucky I'm here this morning.
Yeah, we wouldn't know what to do with that. I mean,
I'm so used to having Brian taking care of the charts because I didn't have my desktop computer that I have to relearn how to do this again. Here's the overnight money zone right here. And let's see, here's a wick, breakdown. It is breaking down to the downside, but nothing real, doesn't excite me. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 red zones. Let's see if we can scroll out a little bit. It's probably still a bit more of an
I'm not
uptrend.
sure what the attendee was looking for with this. I don't see. They just asked to look at this, Brian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here was
I
the
don't
break.
see much.
Here was yesterday's money zone. It broke out overnight. Made a new, well, retested this high, but right now it's kind of in a range. We have a low here, retest. It's I don't really like it that well. This is just one that's kind of all over the place right now. Yeah, I stay away from this one. Not a big fan of this one.
And then we had maybe a little bit past now, but the CJ on a 1 minute.
CJ on a 1 minute. Boy, we're getting down to some of those.
Yeah, we're getting some real tight people on the.
Do you guys play with Ethereum at all?
I buy it.
Yeah,
I don't trade it.
There's an interesting bag on the 5 minute for Ethereum right now. Bag entry. Do you want to look at that?
Yeah, I don't have that on. I don't think LCMFX trades those. I don't think.
Let me see if I
Okay.
can.
Well, Don't worry about it.
But Envy does. So if
Hold on
yeah,
one second.
yeah, you can share your chart if you want, and we can take a look at it if you want.
Charles, if you got it up, put it up.
And I know I know that Nathan's trading cryptos. So I'll stop sharing.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know when you have it ready there, Charles.
Yeah, it's ready.
You ready?
I can
Okay,
do
let
it.
me stop sharing, and you got the helm here.
All right.
And then if you can address at the same time, I don't know, how do you put a specific alarm on a specific price on MT4? Do they have an alarm system on MT4?
It's more of an email system. While Charles is doing that, I will see if I can pull up the answer to that question.
So I'm showing it. You guys tell me your analysis. I mean, we got it, got a bounce off of support. We got about 137.
I like it.
Yeah, definitely like it long. I'm not sure what the parameters are for the cryptos, but it looks like you have room to the upside. I'm not sure what the pip values are on these.
We don't have those on our calculator either.
We don't have them on the calculator. That's one of those things where you could, until you figure it out, you could always take the trade and figure out what the.
Yeah.
I would probably treat it the same way as you would like the index is like a $5 move or $10 stop for a $5 move.
I took that little one.
Yeah, and see what a 0.01 lot size equates to.
I took a 0.05, but so there's, it's going to be just a small. So that's 115 pips, I think, right there.
So that'd be a dollar. Let's see, what's the price here? 1908 to 1920. So that's, am I reading that right?
Yep.
So basically, you're looking at
it's 1904, really, right?
Okay, so you're looking about a $15 move.
$15. Yeah.
And you're on a 0.05 lot size. So
yeah, I would be doubling 2 to 1, whatever my target was. I would be going 2 to 1 with a stop.
Yeah. I'm just gonna drag
eyeball
it. Yeah.
As far as alarm system, it says you can right click on the chart on trading.
I'm gonna give it back to you, Al.
Okay. Here, I'll show you what I've got for the alert with MT4. Let me see.
Yeah, there was a depending on what we're trying to do here. One says you can right click on the chart, click on trading, and then the alert option.
Yeah, what I do, I go
push notification.
I go up to the toolbar, up to the tools where it says tools up here. I click on tools, go to options, and then you can click on notifications. This would be your.
That won't be a specific price though.
Oh yeah. So what you do is you would have under your email, you would set up your email account and your email, and what it does is then when you click on, let's just pull up a chart here. Let's get just pick one out here, and you get your line, right click, and you go horizontal properties, I think is what we do, and common parameters. Somewhere along the way here, you should be able to have a alert. All right, someone can maybe help me out here on this. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done this.
He's wanting specific price. He's not wanting a specific chart or alert. You can do in your back office for in Auvoria Prime, you can get alerts to your phone on every arrow alert. That push notifications there. As far as specific price, man, I've not found one on MT4, but that doesn't mean it's not possible.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Let me try this here. I know there. Here's
EuroCAD buy 5-minute chart. You're on the 5-minute for the EuroCAD now?
I'm on Euro Swiss. Let's go EuroCAD to buy. That's probably one that we took earlier, is it?
Could be, but your chart was showing an alert on a 5-minute, so you may have to adjust your
oh yeah.
Yeah, you're showing 5-minute on your chart.
EuroCAD. Yep. There it is. Well, let's take a look at while we have it here, just see if there's anything there. Right now I see nothing. It's in the red zone.
There was an alert for Canadian Swiss, but it's really a tight range. I don't think there's anything there. It would be a counter trend trade, but it's just too tight.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree.
So out on your screen, pick up let me minimize you and get yours back up again. I can see what you're doing. Go. That's mine. There you go. Just right click on it. Just right click. Go to trading. And there's an alert system there.
There it
for a
is.
specific price. So you'll be alerted because your cursor was on 705
it's right here.
something. You can move that up if you want to, wherever you want the alert.
So let's say I want it to be right there, for example. So
now you have alert there when it comes.
I got an alert right here, and you can modify it to. And actually, this is where you have a sound or. Okay, well, I kind of learned something here.
Yeah, that's from one of our helpers. I guess it's Paresh. If I say it correctly, if I didn't, I apologize.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I haven't seen that before yet either. Yeah.
And then you have a sound, or you could probably do an email alert. That's probably where this thing comes into, where you go to the options and email. You can go with enable it, and then you put your email address in. And then you can also go with the, this is the push notifications, but there's no one for experts trades. Maybe trade here. Maybe this, nope, that's not it either.
Al, when you're done with this, look at the euro yen. Both 15-minute and the 1 hour look like pretty good setups. That we're not quite there yet, but someone was asking about them.
Yen here is right here.
Robin.
This looks like a. Okay, so we are in a
crossing of the 200.
Crossing of the. We have the crossover here. It's still in a downtrend. We're getting a cross here. Let's see if we could have a bounce. So we have that's.
It's
let's
green.
just take a
It's
look
green
at this
now.
as a.
It is an uptrend if you go all the way out.
Definitely in an uptrend. We still have this downward.
She was talking about the 1 hour too for maybe more of a swing.
Let's take a look at this. Lots of green.
Yeah, I like this better on the swing.
I'm gonna have an up arrow, so we're gonna put an up arrow right here.
My only concern is we got a pretty parabolic move the last few days. What goes up came down fast, but what do they want to do with it? To me, it came back to the place of origin. The 127.35 line across the board seems to be the area that it bounced from.
Just made another green. Made another green zone right here.
Yeah,
on this bounce.
I would have liked it earlier, but
yeah, this is yesterday's move. Actually, here's your little W right here. I certainly have a lot of room to the upside. Let's get. We're on a 15-minute chart, so we know where the direction is. Let's zoom out here a little bit.
Man, I like it early, just before, but that's all right. That's still.
It did cross over the 200 though.
We could get a bounce arrow. We could, if we get an arrow on this one, that'll give us our bounce arrow go, which and we're in the right direction. I'd probably have to wait for the arrow on this one, just because I know it's kind of crossing over these moving averages. But if we get arrow,
it's pretty tight to that resistance. Like right now, we're only 20 pips out. So yeah,
a little bit of patience on this one may pay off.
Yeah, that's 20 pips. But if we do get an arrow, you may get it. Generally, what happens is you'll get the arrow and then immediately get a little bit of a pullback. You can see like even like here is the arrow. Here is the close, the bottom little tag right here. When it pulled back a little bit and then it went up. But it still came back and retested this because there's that area of indecision right there. Plus you have, this is the pressure coming down. So it's got to get through. It's got to start getting the momentum to start changing direction. But we're starting to get it here. Here was a nice little wick, came back down, formed another little zone. And I believe it was forming another zone right as we were speaking here. But actually, this was the zone I think was forming. So this one, I say, if you get an arrow on this one, that'd be maybe apt to take that one. Euro yen is euro is getting stronger. The yen is still relatively weak compared to the, I would say, let's take a look at this one, 5 minute. see what we have there. We have the crossover on the 5-minute. I'd still be a little bit patient with this. But we did have some room to the upside. It's if we can get if we can get an arrow alert on a 15-minute, I'd say that it's probably a good trade. We are getting a close over this moving average. This one's pointing up, so you're getting some pressure with that. This one's still flat. Yeah, if we get a bounce arrow go, we can take that trade. Assuming that it doesn't get up so high that you don't have the room. Yeah, if we can get an arrow off, if we can get a close on this candle with an arrow, we can take this trade.
That would be the second upward arrow too for this trend.
Yeah, because here's the first bounce right here.
Yep.
Bounce arrow. But we do have a zone here that it bounced off of, so that would be good. So that would be the second. And a lot of times too, they say with the second arrow, go to the 5-minute chart.
Right.
And I would be putting this. I'd mark the bottom of this.
Yeah, I was looking at the 5-minute. There's just a lot of support and there's room to the resistance. So.
I do like the fact that if it comes down, retest. This would be a really nice one for the 5-minute for the continuation. You had the arrow over here. Here's actually the first arrow for the bounce off of this one.
Right.
But if it comes back down, retest these averages, especially if it can wick down to the 200, come back up, there's your trade. This would be just a reach. This would be that retest of the zones down here. Yeah, this is one to probably keep an eye on. We do have strength of the euro to the yen, and we have enough room to the upside for a target. Good eyes, people. You guys are doing great this morning.
I think it's huge when you have a community that actually knows what they're doing too, along with the newbies learning at the same time. Huge.
You see it starting to pull back a little bit. Maybe get a retest of the moving average. And it's probably not that much of a move to the downside, and you might be about 5 pips. 7 pips to the 8 pips to the blue line. 13 pips to the purple, which is the 200 moving average on the 5-minute chart. But you're not seeing a whole lot of activity right here. Let's see if we can. This was yesterday's range. And actually, you can see where it came down. This was yesterday's money zone. And you see overnight, this little wick right here couldn't break through here. So this does have pressure to the upside. And we'll probably try and retest this area, which was yesterday's high. Well, the money zone. Start off. This would be Thursday. Today, what day is it? Today's Thursday. So
Today's Thursday.
This was Wednesday's open. Came all the way down. So that's a strong move down. That's pretty straightforward. Now this is basically a retracement of this down move. So if I were to be looking for a Fibonacci-ish type retracement, the question is how high will it go? Will from this point strong move down, boom, right here. That's the strong move down. And right now it's retraced right here. This is right at the 62% retracement of this move. If this thing were to start turning around, give us a reason to take it short, then your stop is going to be 5 pips above this area right in here. This is B79. So we go with 127.82. Let's just call it 82. So 87. 127.87 would be your stop on this one. If it comes up, if this 62 holds and it starts to break down again. This will be your target 1, target 2, target 3, target 4. And it comes all the way back down to, this is a low from, this is the origin of this big move up. Here's the origin of the big move down. And right now we have a little bit of a, from a bigger time frame. Here's the anchor. Here's a hit. Here's the other hit. You have 2 hits right there. This is the third. That's the third hit of the trend line. Here's the anchor. Let me see if I can catch this down a little bit further.
Good luck. There you go. Look at you.
Oop.
I never can get on with MT4. I can't ever get it locked in there.
Here's an anchor. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. This is the third hit of the trend line. And now this is a strong move. It hit, came back up, retested the trend line, coming back up. Now it's going to be retesting these zones up here. This was not quite done yet. So this thing still has some, it's somewhat contra trend because you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we are on the 5-minute chart. We're still on the 5-minute chart on this one. So
yeah, 15-minute has it as upward trend still.
When you get a chance, look at your US CAD again.
US CAD.
Yeah, that's an uptrend. US CAD, the question is what do we think about the railroads? Again, you can't predict what the trade's actually going to do. You have to know what losses you can accept to have, but I'm still thinking this is down overall. A couple of reasons. We got the crossing. Number one, that's going to be an algorithmic type. Anybody who's doing algorithmic type trading, they're on this particular time frame, they're going to notice that cross. They're going to jump in, but it came right back to where we thought it would. If you drew a line where it pivoted high, that line goes all the way across. It's just above his blue line. That is the key area of price action, and it's being rejected from it. So this one may take some time, but I still think the overall move will be down.
And you have a nice little, we can draw a trend line off of this peak right here.
You're going to have ebb and flow, guys. That's the whole part about trading that causes people that emotional weirdness in your brain that, yeah, I'm making money. That's why I was telling Charles, I don't really pay attention once I'm in a trade. I've accepted the loss. Whatever happens, happens. Now, I will occasionally look at them to see if, like we do with Arrow, if has a new opposing zone been created. Then I make a decision, but I don't watch it because I would be a roller coaster. Even though I've been doing this for years, I want it to win because I'm highly competitive. So I don't, I accept a loss, whatever it's going to be. I may even add to the position along the way if it looks like the potential of adding to a position. But to me, the picture has not changed. Even though we had that bounce up, it's still following the overall push down. That's how I'm seeing it right now. Yeah,
Brian, talk a little bit about with this. When would you look to take a position? I know that's probably a long answer, but
if I would have missed it the first one, I would have taken it on the touch of the blue line again once it crossed the same area that I would have got in the first place. Usually, when if he was to slide that teal blue line up just slightly. Al, can you bring that horizontal, not that one, but the horizontal entry price just up a bit, maybe to the pivot of that one? There you go, right there. That's a little bit lower. It's yesterday's daily low. If you notice historically on the back side of that,
over here, there's
left.
Here.
Yeah, look left. This is where it was once support. It now has become resistance. If I would have missed it the first time on that first arrow, I would have definitely come in when it came back and tagged it again. If I still felt it was a short. Yeah. Because the thing is nothing in this market happens by chance. It is all ordered, and it's ordered, and it seems chaotic to us because we're in the middle of a 15-minute chart, but there's nothing that happens that's not predictable for the most part, because we're actually at this time frame, we're trading human emotions, and we create our own self-fulfilling prophecy. So we always been taught what was once support becomes resistance. What was once resistance becomes support. That's exactly what we create those things. And the ones that break those type of trends are the big money.
Right.
That would be a place that I would, where would I add to the position if I wanted to drop down target? I would do it probably just a tad lower, but I still think this could break up and give you another shot at an entry.
Well, I think it's already given us that shot because here's a first arrow coming down. Here's a second arrow, all at the same price, pretty much right at the same price within a couple pips. Had this nice little wick right up to the trend line. So you have a hit here, anchor. Here's a hit. Here's the hit. Actually, this is sort of like the breakdown of a wedge. This is kind of like a wedge that's being retested, actually.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
When it gets down to it, here's a high, here's a low, here's the lower high, here's a higher, here's a flat bottom, pretty much right where our line is, where these arrows are. Came back up, retested, wicked up, and now this thing's probably going to come back down. But I might even take this trade now.
And emotions tell you to, oh, I don't want to miss this, so I'm going to sell it at the bottom. You got to be patient. If I miss it, I wait for the retracement. If I don't get I normally won't jump in just to be jumping in because I'm afraid.
I like the fact that this was yesterday's money zone, and over here is where we broke the money zone, came back up. It's retesting. It's basically retesting the money zone.
Yesterday's
money zone.
You have two major lines. You actually have your blue line horizontal and your gold line, because your gold line is actually the mean of the off hour and the beginning of our day here. It is another key. So where would I get out? I would probably, if this thing did not, if this thing starts turning down and we get down close to the target, but yet we don't hit, I may go ahead and take it off. But right now I wouldn't, because the only thing I'm concerned about with this particular trade currently is the fact that the 200 is flat. It's just now starting to bend for us. And that gives me.
What I like here is the fact that it broke this part right here. And look at if you look and see where all the bodies, here's a little bit of a wick. Here's a body. Here's a little body. So right here, if this thing can break through this zone, this is where I'd be looking at this thing going. Right about in this area.
I agree. So I would target before that.
Yeah, so this could be a really nice little trade, because here's your bounce arrow go coming back down to retest this zone.
And I would definitely be getting out before that green zone. I would actually want to make sure that my target, your target green line is what, 7630 or 7640? Is that what you got? Or 2640, whatever that is.
This one here?
Further down.
This one here. That's
right
70. There. That's 2639.
I would be bringing that one up a bit.
Yeah,
for me,
like this, I'd be using
somewhere in that area.
Yeah,
because if you look left,
above, this is the candle that broke this zone,
right? And it's going to come back and retest that,
because there were some sellers that came in here. So this is the origin. So right here we have this red candle. So this is pretty much the wick over wick that we talk about a little bit. This is the area that shot it up. So there were buyers down here. That's to be it. Now you're going to start seeing people are going to start coming in off of these wicks.
Yeah, and then you got to look at your picture and see what the overall picture is. Maybe that at that point you move your stop down to break even. That's an option. When you get close to your target, move to break even, and then let it do its thing. I mean, there's nothing saying what you don't want to be doing is moving your stop backwards. In this case, moving it up. But if you feel like we're coming into a place of turmoil with the price, then move yourself to break even, or just a little bit of, just above break even, take a small loss and let the price do its thing. I think you're going to have I think this is going to take a little bit of time. I don't think this is a typical trade. I think this one's going to take a little bit of time. I think we're going to have kind of the ebb and flow. I like what's happened overnight with the U.S. CAD. I don't know if it has to do with oil prices at all, but I like what it's been doing in the overnight hours. A lot of volatility there too. Today was a down push. There's not a whole lot of time for it to really do much anymore.
I'll put my target on this one here, 20 pips.
And your entry was not great, Al.
It was not. I thought it was a lot better than it was going to be. But yeah, I do like the fact it came up here, and
still not. Yeah, it's not bad, but it's not. Again, that's not what we call. Is it going to work? Possibly, but it's not a great entry. Your greater entry would have been near that teal line.
Yeah,
And he's not far off. It's not like
it's really a couple. Let's see, when you look
Couple
at
pips.
72 to 77, it's
5 pips off.
5 pips off. Yeah,
Yeah. And 5 pips makes a big difference. You know,
it does. Yeah.
it can. I still think that we're going to tag this blue line again. I think we could even break up and touch the purple line, to be honest.
You see, my stop is still way up here. Now, if it comes up
That's
here,
it.
and if this thing starts, if this thing basically, I like the fact that we had 2 down arrows. This would have been the second one. It came back up, retested this, and now I'm looking at my target is actually down here at the bottom of this. We have a channel here. We have an anchor, a hit, a hit. We have
Not
an
far to
anchor,
go.
a hit, a hit. Now and you see my target, my first target is actually right here at the bottom of this channel. If it breaks above and breaks and starts going up this way, I'll be out of this trade before it.
Right. I would shorten up my stop. And that, again,
Yeah.
that's not something that necessarily a bag would say to do. They say leave 40-20, but if the picture changes and you're getting better experienced at trading, you know, I wouldn't do it if you're a newbie. I would just stick with the 40-20, you know, let it be, accept those losses and learn. And then as you start seeing picture change, and again, we're looking on a 5-minute chart.
Yeah, this
we're not looking at a 15-minute chart. So you're going to see some picture change earlier on a 5-minute chart than you would ever on a 15. 15 is going to keep you a little bit more patient. 5, you draw down to kind of get a little, maybe an early inkling of what could happen.
Right. Now, keep in mind too is that if you're short and it starts building red zones above you, that's a good thing, because what that's doing, that's building more walls between you and your stop. Now, if it starts building,
trust it.
Right now, if it goes and starts putting a green one down here, then you want to be getting out of it. But
We're getting lower highs, right, guys? We're sort of testing that trend line with lower highs.
Yeah.
And you may have an overshoot at times. The question is the overall trend still? If he drew a line down the middle of that channel, that's really kind of where you're looking at. Is it breaking that middle median line?
Yeah, if I draw it something like this,
something that's, you know, that gives you almost even a time frame of when you can potentially hit your target.
Yeah.
But I would love to see this thing break back below the middle line, because that gives me a little bit more confirmation.
Yeah. But right now it's just testing this the upper third of this the upper half of this channel.
Switch to your 15 with those markings on it. Let me see what we got here. Yeah, I'm not worried.
So here's a hit. Here's a hit. These are all wicks. Came up, down. I
haven't seen you guys do the middle line before. That's an interesting.
It's a median line of a channel. That's all it is. It's because look where price seems to always bounce from. It's no different than having a horizontal line on price action.
Got it. Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just you're on the upper half of a channel. And then you get greater confirmation when you break below that half. It's not that it's not going to work out if it stays up there. It just takes a little longer to hit your target.
Right.
The key for me will be, when would I get out? Obviously, I'm accepting the 40 pip loss. But if I see that blue line cross back over that purple line in a long position,
I'll be out.
Yeah, it goes across and maybe a green zone, then I'm going to take that smaller loss.
Yeah.
There's no reason. I mean, if we're day trading, there's no reason to extend it out. Now, if I'm swing selling, then I would just hang on.
So you're saying, Brian, if the arrow moving average moves back above the 200, that's your sign to get out?
To reevaluate. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely. Maybe not get out, but reevaluate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would probably be looking at doing it on the 15-minute chart, because the 5-minute could give you several little
early. Yeah, you get wicked out. And I'm also looking, if you drew a median line over the, because we can get lines all over the place, but if you drew a median line over the overnight hours, that middle line is just above, or it's just above where we're at, but it's also just below. So I really like the stop where it's at, to be honest. I really do, because that median line over the overnight hours, where we started our day, we could very well end up right where we started at the beginning of the day. It's not abnormal to have a doji.
Yep. Any other questions? Actually, we're starting to come on about the last 5 minutes of our time here. Does anybody have any more questions, comments?
Q&A is open.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Don't know where that came from.
And basically what we're trying to do is we're basically trying to show you some, I mean, we have the basic entries, the basic strategies. We're also trying to show you some ways on why we take some trades and why we don't take. I mean, some of it is pretty cut and dry, but sometimes when they get a little bit iffy, we're kind of showing you some other ways of looking at the same picture, just to give you a little different perspective on what the price action is doing, and that's why
that's our focus with Hawkeye. It's just to do those technical analysis, the grinding understanding, because it's not necessarily the fun part. A fun part's making money, but understanding how you're doing it is a huge piece of the puzzle. A lot of traders don't want to know the technical side of things, and that's okay. You know, you've got other tools in there that Auvoria Prime's offering that you don't have to understand technical analysis. But I'm telling you, if you can understand technical, you'll understand how and why it's so important to have AI software helping you, because it's all based on algorithmic mathematics and price action. Pretty intense stuff, but we're trading human nature and self-fulfilling prophecies.
It was really interesting. 30 years ago, when technical analysis was just coming into play, and there was somebody that was saying, "Look at the way the price action is because of this, this, and this."
It was of the devil.
and everybody thought he was crazy. They said, "No, everything's all fundamentals." And there wasn't even a thing called the forex at the time. It was all pretty much, he was talking about stocks and mutual funds and things of that nature. But they were saying, no, if you're not a fundamental trader, you're not a trader, because it's all based on fundamentals. That whole concept has switched tremendously.
And not only that, it's also switched to, now you're hearing, if you're not using AI, if you're using AI, you're not a real trader. We're flipping that.
But yet the banks
and institutions are using them.
They've been using them for the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
So
yeah, the candlestick Bible goes way, way back. It sure does.
Yeah, one thing I like about the technical analysis, usually the technical analysis will tell you before the news tells you what the news is. If it shows in the prices, if you learn to read the charts, you'll get a better feel, because the charts react before the news ever comes out, because
somebody already knows.
Somebody already knows, and they're already taking their positions, waiting for that.
Yeah.
So.
Very good, Al.
Okay, well, let's wrap this thing up. Any last questions, comments? Again, thank you so much.
And we're still doing tomorrow, right, Al?
We're still doing tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Yep, we do it Monday through Friday. Dante's session is starting in another couple of minutes. And
thanks, guys.
Again, thank you.
Thanks, Charles, for your help.
Yep, no worries, man. Good analysis. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody, for coming in. Hopefully you learned something, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow.
See you guys.
All right, bye.